Hello! Today we're talking about some popular books that I haven't read yet. To be clear, all the books on this list are books that I want to read. If I went through all the popular books that I haven't read, then this video would take way too long. These are the ones that I actually genuinely want to read. I'm kinda happy about this list because a lot of the books on it, I am actually planning on reading them soon, or I have plans of when I'm gonna read them. So I'm happy about that. You ready for this first one? I hope you are. Harry Potter. Now this one you can't yell at me too much about yet because I have started the series. I've read the first book, I finished the second book recently. I am going to pick up the third book one day, but I still don't feel like I can officially say I've read Harry Potter yet because I haven't quite made a good dent in the series yet. I'm working on it. Don't yell at me. Where did the stack of books I just had here go? What happened? Let's go with this. No. This one. No. Let's do The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Stewart. I did start this. I got it from a library one time and read a couple chapters in. But at the time, the chapters were really long for me and the book just as a whole was really long for me. And it still is a really long book, which is probably why I still haven't picked it up yet. But I own a copy now and I'm going to read it sometime. I've heard many people say that it's amazing. Amazingness is going to be put in my brain sometime. Yeah. I totally worded that correctly. This next one is probably the one I think I'm most likely never going to read, and that is the Miss Peregrine series by Ransom. I read the first book and I really enjoyed it, and I got halfway through the second book before I DNF'd it for some reason, and ever since then I've just never had an urge to pick up the series again. Honestly, just all of my enthusiasm for it has completely left me, and I just literally have absolutely no interest in it anymore. I was kind of hoping the new book that he's releasing would make me want to finish the series, but it hasn't. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. Let's go with another really big one, shall we? The Percy Jackson series by Riordan. I've read this first book, but I made a point to not pick up the next book. And the reason for that is because Percy Jackson and Harry Potter are both really, really beloved series, and I have a lot of pressure on myself to enjoy both of them, and so I don't want to be in the middle of both of these series at the same time, so I've decided that I'm going to finish the Harry Potter series before rereading this book and then continuing on with the series. But I will do it maybe almost immediately after because I did really enjoy this book and I really want to continue. The next book I have here is actually one that I don't really want to read, but my book club picked it for this month, and so I'm having to read it anyway, so I might as well put it on this list. The Maze Runner by James Dashner. My light's going away. I don't blame it. I'm not interested in this book either. This book just does not sound like my taste at all, and so I'm not expecting to get all the way through it. I'm probably gonna give it 50 pages, probably will DNF it there, and probably will just read the full synopsis on Wikipedia if that's on there. I'm not a big fan of violent books, so this is definitely something I don't want. It's shiny though. I like how shiny this cover is. This next one is probably the most embarrassing one. The Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. I don't know if it's massively popular. This is a pretty popular Christian novel. These books have pretty much been in my life for as long as I can remember, and it's probably the oldest book on this list since I've literally wanted to read it since forever, and I still haven't. I've been trying to branch out into a little more adult novels recently though, and since this is one of the few adult novels that I know about, I will probably actually be getting around to it sometime soon, hopefully, maybe. The next one is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I picked up this little copy from a library giveaway a long time ago. I didn't know anything about it or that it was popular at all, but as time went by I heard more and more people talk about it, and it's pretty much an extremely well-beloved book apparently. And so I really want to read it, even though very recently when looking up reviews for books I found some not great things about it, but still I want to give it a shot eventually. Let's do yet another really big one. The Hunger Games by Suzan Collins. This one might be the biggest shocker to you people. I think I've mentioned before that I haven't read Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, but this one I don't talk about as much, and so it's probably the most shocking one on this list, maybe. As I just mentioned with The Maze Runner, I don't really like violent books that much, but I can enjoy them if I enjoy the story more, and this is one that I'm really hoping I enjoy. I got a box set for Christmas last year, and so I have all the books, and it's just such a popular book that I feel like I'm not allowed to not like it. The last 4 books on this list aren't really specific books, they're more authors that I want to get into. The first one is Neil Gaiman. The only thing I've read by him is Coraline, and I really loved it. It's one of my favorite books. And then I also own the Graveyard book, and then I have a copy of Neverwhere, and it takes a lot of willpower for me not to buy any more of his books because I need to read the 2 that I already own. All of his books just sound really good, and I just always have this urge to highly support this person and collect all of his books, which is ridiculous considering that I've only ever read 1 novella by him. So I need to get around to reading his other books because it's ridiculous that I haven't yet. The next author is Brandon Sanderson. This one I don't feel too bad about because I'm actually not a big high fantasy reader, but he's still such a popular author that I feel like I should probably give his stuff a shot. Usually people suggest starting with Mistborn series, and then a couple little people say that Warbreaker is a good one to start with too, and even though there are more saying Mistborn is a good one to start with, I think I'm going to read Warbreaker because I think the people that recommended that one first made better points about why. Plus, one of the points they made was that it's a good one for people who aren't really big in high fantasy reading. So that's the one I'm going to start with if I ever do start. Hopefully I do. The problem with Brandon Sanderson is that his stuff is a very big commitment to read. Apparently all of his adult books are interconnected somehow. And then of course the Way of Kings one is going to be a 10-book series, and each book is 1,000 pages. And so that's a lot of reading that I could be doing in other books. And so I feel like if I don't like Warbreaker that much, I'm probably not going to get very farther into his works. The next author is Frederick Backman. I've seen his works around in bookstores and stuff, and one day I had a gift card so I picked this up because it sounded interesting. And recently he's been talked about more and more, and I've heard very few bad stuff about it. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. Actually sounds really good to me. It sounds just amazing and I really want to read it. I'm actually planning on reading it this month because I have to read The Maze Runner this month, and also the book I'm currently reading is also a slightly more violent, intense book for my taste, and I need a nice contemporary in between those. I don't feel 100% confident in saying that this is lighthearted, and a lighthearted one would be a better one, but it's a contemporary, so it's better than nothing, and I just really want to read it soon. And the final book I'm talking about today is Victoria Schwab. The only thing I've read by Victoria Schwab so far is her Everyday Angel series, which I really enjoyed, but it's also the one book of hers that I've never heard anyone else talk about. I also got halfway through Vicious, but I had to take it back to the library, so I think either finishing Vicious or reading The Archived, which is the other book of hers that I have, obviously, are going to be what I pick up next from her. But really, in the same way as Neil Gaiman, I've heard a lot of good things about her. All of her books sound really good, and I want to read and buy and collect all of them, and so hopefully I'll be doing that soon. So those are all the books that I'm talking about today. I could probably come up with a few more, but this video is probably very long so far, so I just need to wrap it up. What are some books that are popular that you haven't read yet? If you like this video, be sure to do this to it. The thumb, not the punch in the face, don't do that. And then take a scribe and a sub sandwich and put them together. That's all I'm saying today. Goodbye. Every time I see someone make a video like this, I just think, that's not that bad. You should see the list of books I haven't read yet.